All right, everyone, JR here from HolyFaith Media, coming to you live from the Catholic in a Car studio, which is also my car, here in Southern Ontario, on another beautiful morning. And today I want to come on and talk about a subject which is a little bit touchy and controversial. And that is about the way that women dress at Mass, and specifically the way that women dress at the traditional Latin Mass. I hesitated on making this video because I know that it will, no matter what I say, there's going to be somebody who is not going to be happy with what I say. So I decided, you know what? This is what this show is all about. Sometimes giving controversial opinions and not really caring what somebody else thinks. It's not that I don't care what somebody else thinks. It's that oftentimes people just want to disagree without actually backing it up with any experiences or facts. So first off, let me start off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give anybody who gets offended easily, I'm going to give you a few seconds to click on another video or go on over to another channel.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
All right, Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm going.
1, 2, 10.
All right, is that enough time? All right, let's start talking about the way that women dress at the traditional Latin Mass. First off, I want to start off by saying that the way that people dress can be relative to culture. Certainly, I wish that some of the modesty and customs that we were used to back 50 years ago or even 100 years ago, I think that we've went too far the other way with the way that we dress. I mean, you just have to look around on the streets or go sit outside any nightclub and see what I'm talking about. It definitely has gone too far the other way to now where, you know, many men and women, they dress like trash and like words that I can't use on air. But you know what I'm talking about. It's gone totally out of control. However, with that being said, dress is relative to culture to a certain degree. Let me give you an example. So last year I was in Egypt, and in Egypt it is illegal for a woman to show any leg whatsoever in public. And it would be considered, if you did so, it'd be the exact same as if a woman was walking around bare-chested here in North America, which unfortunately also does happen nowadays amongst a certain group of individuals. But do you see what I mean? So in North America, it's just really no big deal for a woman to be wearing shorts. We don't even look the other way anymore. Or if a woman has a skirt that doesn't go all the way down to the floor and you could see a little bit of her legs, it's not a big deal, at least out in the public society. So with that being said, when you go into a traditional Latin Mass parish, I have to say, I feel bad for some of these girls, the young girls, that you know that their parents are the ones that are making decisions about how they dress. I feel bad when I walk in and I see girls that look like they just rolled out of a 16th century novel. And I know that may offend some people, but it's totally true. Some of these girls, they look like something 100 or 400 years ago. And what I think will happen is that these girls, you know, when they get out on their own and they're able to make their own decisions about clothing, they may even look back and resent their parents for making them look so different from the rest of the society. Now, I'm not saying that they have to walk around in miniskirts and blouses which show off both of the girls, but we don't have to make them look like something that is just totally draconian or, you know, something that's 500 years out of date either. And I've been to many parishes where I see women who dress modestly However, they also are fashionable at the same time. And I understand that not everybody can afford designer clothing and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that we have to dress them in skirts that look like they're something out of the Victorian era. At least in my opinion. Because I think that a lot of times the motivation, in my opinion, is for an outward appearance of holiness and humility. And usually the interior motive, in my opinion, oftentimes is the complete opposite of that. It's actually a form of spiritual pride to, like the Weird Al Yankovic song, I know that I'm 100 times more humble than thou art. That's what it is. It's people that they portray being humble, almost like the Pharisees when you look in the New Testament. The exact same thing. So on the outside, they stand out because they look different from the rest of the society. But a lot of times it's actually a form of spiritual pride, or it can be a form of spiritual pride. Somebody that I know, a lady named Missy DeConte from Virginia, who goes to a fraternity of St. Peter Parish, said it best, and she said, you can dress modestly, but also stylish at the exact same time. And that's so true. If you were to look at the pictures of her girls and herself, they don't particularly stand out as far as their clothing goes, but they look stylish and they look modest at the same time. But they look modern. If I think about a couple of examples from my parish, I'm not going to name names because I know at least one of these girls watches some of these videos, at least anyway. But when I look at her and the way that she dresses her kids, and when I think about it, I mean, she, once again, is dressed modestly, but she doesn't look like hundreds of years out of date. So it is possible. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people do it out of a sense of spiritual pride. I think that, and I'm not outright condemning, long skirts, so to speak, because I don't want people to get the wrong message. I'm not saying that whatsoever. In fact, I find skirts very attractive, if you want to know the truth. If I saw a woman, here, let me tell you this. I actually find a woman wearing a skirt much more attractive and distracting than a lady in pants. And yet, traditionalists often make the argument that it's pants that are this great moral evil. So, and I'm sure there's other guys that feel the exact same way as I do. All right, guys, so that's part 1, and I'll do part 2 coming up very soon and finish off my thoughts on women in traditional Latin Mass chapels. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you all again soon, and that's all for now.